there are three pieces in the show. There's one called she, he, one called he, and one called they. They're part of a series of work I call the Infinity Series, and they are kind of based on the Janus figures. Janus being a god of Roman god that could see into the future and see into the past. And so these figures are double-sided. There's one facing one direction, one facing the other direction. On she, he, for instance, there's the female figure facing one direction, a male figure facing the other direction. Inspiration, though, it's so hard to say that the inspiration comes from everyday life, kind of seeing people that are looking to the past, looking to the future. Well, I like the museum. I've always liked the museum. It was local. That helped. It was a museum show also. That helped inspire me. It was like, well, I wasn't sure. Some people, because of my subject matter, I wasn't sure how well it would be accepted. But I kind of thought, what's the worst they can do? They can say no. It's no problem with that. So, but you know, it's a prestigious museum, and I would love to. This is my first museum show. I'm kind of excited that I actually finally got something in a museum show. And I can't say that it hurt that you offered an honorarium to all the artists. That has been greatly appreciated by everyone that got into the show, I'm sure. It's probably not as difficult for me as it is maybe for some people, in that I don't have to. I'm doing a lot of my work digitally, and so I have a 3D model that I've made. This is a 3D printed model, and you can scale them up or down. So for me to scale it down was not as big of a deal as it is for somebody that's actually doing the detail work and the carving and stuff. When I'm doing things, I still do need to, my eyes go. I've had to take on things that help improve my vision, because my eyesight's not as good as it was. So that's part of it. Also getting enough light. That's another thing that I found that I sometimes need. Well, I just happen to have, excuse me. I know it might be funny, but this then helps me focus on what I'm trying to do. So those are a couple of things that I've recently had to take on to make it easier to deal in a small scale. It's very freeing in that I don't have to share with anybody in here. I can leave things the way they were. You know, I just walk out the door, go home, eat something, come back. It's all there, undisturbed. And I'm very happy with this space. That I've had to rework this space from a very raw husk, we'll say, shell, and painted it, made it into what it is now. And it's nice. I like to be able to, I've got a window that I can look out. I can sit at a table or workbench and look out the window. I can plant flowers outside. So it's just a comfortable space to be in. there's so many things that inspire my work. It's not a single, there is not a single element. It can be everyday life. It can be myths. It can, you know, as I said about Janus, or a religion and folklore. But you know, everyday life, just seeing and hearing things on the news, talking with friends. So I think science works its way in there too. I grew up in a household that was very kind of science oriented. My father was a scientist, and so I kind of find it it's easy to fall into using science type of themes or ideas. No, nothing in particular. I get up in the morning and do my chores at the house, and then I can come over here. I should clarify what part of my whole thing is. My studio is here. This is a physical studio, but I also work. A lot of my work is digital now, and so anywhere I can carry my laptop is my studio also. Part of what I just mentioned is that the computer is a major one. Where I can do 3D modeling and also photo editing. I do digital compositions, photographic compositions. I've got a 3D printer here. That's another tool. But that's one thing about my studio that I really love, is that I have spent literally a lifetime accumulating tools. And this is one place where I've been able to bring them all together. They're all here. I've table saw, bandsaw, sanders, all kinds of hand tools. So I don't have a specific tool. Right now it's mostly digital. And I'm finding as I'm getting older that the digital realm is a space where I can work, where it's easy for me to continue working as my physical strength starts to go some, as my hands start to lose some of their dexterity. I can still do things digitally that it just makes life easier in some ways. Making a transition from doing analog work into the digital work, and then taking that digital work and transferring it back into analog, where then I can go ahead and still use my hands, still work on it with my hands, but the digital tools have proven to be the most useful. I think I've probably covered a lot of that just now. That I originally started doing artwork in college. It was ceramics was where my main thrust was in ceramics. And from ceramics, I realized that it wasn't enough, that I wanted to do more sculptural work. And so that my BFA was in ceramics from the Kansas City Art Institute. And after the Art Institute, I worked for a while. I worked at the Art Institute for a while, and then I decided I needed to go and get my MFA if I wanted to teach. And so I went and got an MFA in sculpture down at Georgia State University in Atlanta. And so there was a progression from ceramic work only to multiple materials and media and tools in sculpture. And from there, then it evolved into now the digital realm too. But I don't have a particular tool, we'll say, or process that I stick to. It's just been the evolution has come from there. along that line of ceramic, sculpture, digital. I think the most important thing is to use whatever media is appropriate for the idea. Part of the evolution of my work probably occurred when I worked in props for the Missouri Repertory Theater, now the Kansas City Theater, on the campus of UMKC. I got a job there making props. When I got back to Kansas City after my MFA in Atlanta. And I worked with all kinds of artists, set designers, and always had to make something new. And I would be given a drawing and say, I want you to make this 15-foot wide eagle made out of sheet metal. And I was like, oh, I've never done anything like that. So it was kind of nice in that every month, at least in the repertory theater, every month I had a new show opening, kind of. Personally, I would have my work on stage. Nobody knew it was my work, but me and the other theater people. And so that evolved, that forced me to take on things. It's like, I don't know how to do that. Yes, I can do that. My older brother is 3 years older than me, and he was into art. And at a very young age, he was into art. And so I guess it was kind of a natural thing where I kind of followed him. I followed his interests, big brother kind of thing. I followed his interests. And like my parents registered him, or my mother registered him for a Saturday class at a kind of a parks and recreation thing. They had a woman that was teaching art to children on Saturdays, and it was like so many Saturdays in a row, and it was in one of the parks buildings in Aurora, Illinois. It was a birdhouse. It had been a birdhouse, an aviary. Anyway, I got to go along for some reason, or my mom decided it was a good idea for me, or I just wanted to do it. I don't recall the exact thing, but it was taught by a woman named Mrs. Fraser, whom I later ended up having as an art teacher in high school. But we would go in and we would do things with clay and stuff like that. And so that's when I first started using my hands to make things, to make art. I guess that my figures have become more where I really focused. And I like figurative art, even though I may abstract the human form some. I like figurative art. And I guess that's what does that come from? I don't know exactly. My father, in addition to being a scientist, was also, he had a major in science and a minor in art, which I thought was an unusual combination. And back when you had majors and minors. And we had art books around the house and stuff like that. So I guess I was drawn into the figurative work from a very early age.